And he says, the least favorite part of my day, mommy, is coming home because you are so tired all the time and you don't want to play with us. You say you're too exhausted. You yell, daddy yells, and I hate it. And it was right there in my bathroom, and I just lost
Oh,
it. I crumbled. I was like, I don't know what am I doing? Why
yeah,
am I putting everybody else ahead of myself and my family?
right.
And I walked downstairs. I told my husband, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I don't care that, I'm making decent money. I don't care. I can't. I can't live like this.
Hey, friend, welcome to the Ready to Rise podcast. This is the podcast for ambitious, successful women who've checked off all the boxes: the career, the routines, the self help books, and therapy. We've done it all. But if you're still feeling numb, stuck, or like you're just going through the motions, you're in the right place, because I've totally been there and I've healed myself using the tools that I now teach. I got certified in them so that I could help other women do the same. I'm your host, Audrey Rose, a registered nurse and somatic life coach, and I'm here to help you stop just coping, stop just going through the motions, and actually start feeling good again in your life, feeling happy again. Each week, we explore nervous system regulation, emotional wellness, and rituals that are rooted in ancient wisdom, ancient practices, so you can stop just going through the motions and stop just getting by and start really feeling lit up and alive and fully plugged in again. This is about real happiness, the kind that fills your body, lights you up, and helps you create a life that you are obsessed to wake up for. So are you ready? Because I'm excited to help you feel like you again. Okay, you guys, I am so excited. I have Miss Lauren here, and she has been a bedside nurse, or was a bedside nurse, for 18 years. She's done management, and just she's burned out in that role, like so many of us do, as a chronic people pleaser and just putting everybody else's needs above her own. And she's also gone through a lot, which we're going to get into. Prior to all of that, she found herself kind of stuck in a fight or flight mode, and just really, went on the whole journey that I cannot wait to dive into, where she found nervous system regulation and so many other tools. And she became a board certified nurse coach. So we're going to dive into that. And I can't wait to learn. I'm like, this is so cool, so close to home for me. So I would love for you to kind of, go ahead and kind of give us some of that story and get a little deeper into that, because of course my introduction can only do, so much.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so very much for having me on your podcast. I'm very honored and grateful to be here. And I hope that somebody hears, my story and it can resonate a little bit with them. Um, so a little bit about me is I grew up in a very chaotic household and very mentally and emotionally abusive. And I learned at a very early age that my worth was dependent on doing things for other people. And I was only considered a good girl if I was helping or if I was taking care of somebody else.
Yeah.
And I saw that mirrored a lot, like in my grandparents who were so wonderful, but my grandfather had ALS and my grandmom always took care of him from the
Wow.
time I was 2 till 18. So I just learned from a very early age that
Yeah.
love was dependent on doing things for other people. So fast forward through all of that childhood crap and
Yeah.
craziness of my young 20s, I put myself through nursing school and I became a nurse because I felt worthy and I felt good
Yeah.
about myself because I was taking care of other people. And I quickly realized that it is a lot more than just, I don't ever want to say fluffing someone's pillow, but it's a lot more demanding
Yeah.
and emotionally taxing than I ever thought it would be. And I got very, very burnt out. So I kept thinking, all right, well, if I change jobs, if I get out of the hospital and I go to a surgery center, or if I can only work Monday through Friday and no holidays, then I'll be happy. I'll be happy. And it turns out that none of it really made me happy anymore because it was so exhausting, both emotionally as well as physically. And then over the years, we all know healthcare has changed, right?
Yeah.
And it has gotten so much worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And having to fill out the same paperwork 3 times for three
Oh
different
my gosh. Yeah.
entities, and making sure the insurance companies had the right billing codes and this and that. Like, I will never forget, I had a code in the hospital, and this is before we could like scan everything. Like, that's how
Okay.
old I am. Like, and it was,
That's how experienced you are.
you know, like it was a code, and I was putting in somebody's medical record number into the EKG machine, and
Sure.
I mixed up 2 numbers,
Oh no.
and the patient ended up dying. And I got called into my manager's office and
Mm.
was like, really sorry that you had to experience that. That's a shame, but you put in the wrong medical ID number and we're not going to get paid for this EKG.
Oh
Like,
my
are
gosh.
you joking? So it's just stuff like that where I felt it wasn't
Yeah.
patient focused at
Yeah.
all. It's about making money, and it
Yeah.
just burned me out. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe it's bedside. Maybe I'm just done with this. So it's been 14 or 15 years of this. Like, let me move into management. Maybe I can make a difference, at least for the nurses, in that way. But again, I still hadn't done any healing on myself, and I knew what it was like to be a nurse on the floor and to not be able to get your PTO and not to be able to leave because your kid is in a school play.
Right.
Those kinds of things are so important to me. And it's so important that we, as a whole, recognize that we're human beings. We're not just a
Yes.
body in a place to take care of
Yeah.
4 to 10 patients at a time. So I burned myself out super quickly because I wanted to be that boss that gave everybody what they needed. And I would work on the floor all the time, and I would let them leave to go do family things. And it was great. And I loved doing that. But I didn't get any of my work done. and like,
Right.
and then I was burnt out from that.
Yeah.
And then I have 3 children, and working at this point in time, I was working 5:45 in the morning till about 3:15 in the afternoon. And I
Okay.
would leave and literally drive home and wait at the end of my street for my kids to get off the bus. So it was just go, 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 go all day, 5 days a week. And
Yeah.
it was miserable, like miserable. And I will never forget this. I think my son saved the household. I think he saved my mental status. He one night was fighting with me. He was 8 years old, fighting with me to get in the shower, and I yelled at him and I said, "Just get in the shower."
Yeah.
Like, why is it so hard?
Yeah.
And he turns around and he has crocodile tears, and he says, "The least favorite part of my day, mommy, is coming home because you are so tired all the time and you don't want to play with us. You say you're too exhausted. You yell. Daddy yells, and I hate it." And it was right there in my bathroom, and I just lost
Oh,
it. I crumbled. I was like, I don't know, what am I doing? Why
yeah.
am I putting everybody else ahead of myself and my family?
Right.
And I walked downstairs. I told my husband, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I don't care that, I'm making decent money. I don't care. I can't. I can't live like this. And the kids can't live like this. And I'm leaving. I'm quitting my job. So
Wow.
a few months later, I left, and I have been on this journey of total self-discovery for the first time,
Wow.
and learning that there's so much more out there than just than traditional nursing,
Yeah.
and that we can take care of people truly at their core And I think that's what so many people are missing.
Yeah.
Is that people don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, they don't feel valued.
Yeah.
They just feel like they're a cog in a wheel,
Gosh.
and it's taxing.
Yeah.
So I found a nurse life coaching program, which was, it literally changed me like as a whole human being. And it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's 6.5 months long. It's called the Successful Nurse Life Coaches. I'll shout them out. I like think that
Yeah.
they're fantastic. And yeah, I completed my course in July and became board certified, and here I am. So now I am hoping to start, once the kids go back to school next week, I'm hoping to really start working one-on-one with clients and
Yeah.
helping them in other ways.
Yeah. Are like, does it kind of train you to work mostly with nurses as clients or just women in general, everybody?
Anybody, you
Wow.
can literally choose anything you want. You can choose to work. A lot of what I'm seeing now is a lot of hospitals are starting to hire nurse coaches for new grads
Yeah.
and helping them in that way. So you could work something in your hospital if you wanted to. You can start your own private practice. You can do retreats. You can work in, like, you can train nurses, you can train moms, you can train, like, you can coach anybody, literally about anything. Um, the thing that I love so much about it is that it utilizes your nursing brain a little bit differently, and it teaches you, we're all really good listeners, and we can always, like, no matter if we're sitting at the computer, we're like, wait a minute, what did you just say? And you can pick up on things that people are saying, but it teaches you to truly listen deeply and how to just be fully present in the moment. And I think that that is so critical for patients to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I think it's critical for us as human beings to feel heard and to feel seen.
How are you feeling now after this rest, like after taking this time off, like you're starting to come home to yourself? I am such a like sucker or whatever, like just for hearing about tools. Like I'm always obsessed with like what kind of tools are you using and what are you doing and like how is it all impacting you now that you've had time to consistently change your routine?
My self-awareness is so, I'm so self-aware now, almost to the point where I'm like, wait a minute, is that really how I feel? Like, I'm more in tune to listen to my body,
Yeah.
like, because your body's always going to tell you before your mind does.
Yeah.
So if something isn't feeling right, like if I'm like, oh, do I really like what this person said? I'm able to kind of sit back and reflect and listen to the little cues, like, oh, that in my stomach really doesn't feel good. So what does that mean? And really tuning in and listening to that and being able to listen better to my children and have more patience with them and realize that they are their own separate individuals. I mean, it sounds so common sense, but it's not. Like, nobody taught us that, right? Like, nobody is like, oh, you know what? Literally listen to your gut, listen to your throat, listen to your mind. Like, it's just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And when you slow down a little bit more and you're able to actually tune into yourself, it's wild the things that you learn about yourself.
It's a lot of like unlearning too. Like I was thinking about this recently. So I had somebody that I knew from the community, it was like almost like a grandfather figure to me, passed away recently, and I actually didn't know that he had passed away until I was at work and I was working on the floor where he passed, and they were talking about this person, and I heard his name, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was kind of in that moment where I was thinking a lot about how we know that we compartmentalize. We're kind of taught to do that as nurses, but it was like in that moment exactly that I was like, whoa, like we really, really have to do that sometimes, where it's like, I just heard this news and I work night shift right now. And so I was like, I can't just like, there's so much less staff on nights. It's like, I can't just go home. I can't just call down and be like, I gotta go. Emotional. It was just like, we stuff it down, we put it in a box, we continue on our thing. And like you were saying with the code, like, you have a code and this whole thing happens and you're stressed out after, but we have like other patients we've got to go see and take care of. And so we get so used to doing that, that like what you were just talking about reminded me a lot of like unlearning a lot of that, and like being able to listen in and like, what is my gut saying, or what is my throat saying? And what do I need to do to take care of myself more right now? And being
Mhm.
able to slow down and be present, like that sounds amazing. Hey friend, quick question. When was the last time that you truly felt reset? If you've been pushing through exhaustion or kind of spinning your wheels or noticing that your energy is all over the place, I have something for you. I'm hosting a free 7-day nervous system reset challenge, and this round, I'm super excited to say that we are blending chakra alignment with the daily nervous system practices. So each day you'll get a new tool like breath work, tapping, or sound healing paired with the chakra that it supports. This is going to be free, 7 days, very powerful, and so amazing. If you're ready to feel grounded, energized, and reconnected to yourself in just 1 week, join us for free. In the show notes below, there's the link. Or if you just go to Instagram at Hello Audrey Rose, that link is there in my bio for you.
It is, and it's totally transformed myself. It's transformed like how I respond to even like, like my family. Like sometimes they're annoying, right? And sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, like, but I'm not going to fall back into this pattern of where I shrank myself down and made myself small because I didn't want to upset anybody else. And that is a part of what I've learned this year, is that everybody knows like fight and flight, but then there's fawning, and that's where you like literally shrink yourself down because you don't want to. You were taught that being yourself was too much or too bad, and that love is conditional based on how you behave. And I realized that I do that, and that I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And it has just really been very eye-opening to me.
Yeah. Can we talk about that fawning and like coming out of that? Like how, like what are you doing to heal from that and bring yourself out from that?
I think the biggest thing is that knowing that I was always worthy,
Mm.
right? I was always worthy. Everybody is born worthy. Nobody's born and like, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
you next, like on the baby belt, like, like when you're being born, like you get stamped worthy, you get stamped not worthy. Like we're all born that way, and we're just conditioned, or it's our upbringing, or it's things we learn on TV that implant these things in our mind that we're not even fully aware of. And it makes us feel like, oh, well, I can't be too much, or because then someone's not going to like me, or I can't say this because then someone's going to be mad at me. And what if they're mad at me? And oh my God, I can't handle it if they're mad at me. And if they don't like me, or if they don't want to be my friend. And it's just becoming a little bit, it's still a work in progress, but it is something that I'm learning every day to speak up. Like even something as simple as like I posted on my Facebook this thing that somebody wrote about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged, and about,
Sure.
how she didn't settle, and how she didn't shrink herself
Yeah.
down, and how she didn't do this. So I reposted it, and I made my own little blurb about it. And someone's like, well, she's not a hero, and she's not this, and she's not that, and da 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 da. And it was, and I'm like, okay, first of all, that's a you thought. That's not a my thought. And instead of being a keyboard warrior back and being like, I'm just like, you're totally entitled to your thoughts and your opinions, but I'm also not going to not respond in a respectful way and be like, well, I don't think she doesn't have to be a hero to you, but I think it's a good lesson for women to learn that you shouldn't settle. You shouldn't, there's so many, you either love her or you hate her.
Yeah.
And she's not going to listen to the haters. So, like, why do we listen to the haters? Why do we think of, oh my God, Susan from high school is going to be talking about me if I make this post, or if I say I'm doing this thing or I'm doing that? Why do we care? We are worthy, and we are good enough the way we are, and we shouldn't let other people's opinions affect us the way we allow them to.
That's so true. And healing, like healing from the burnout aspect too of everything, was there anything that specifically like helped you that you started to really lean into, or, just in general, like maybe through the coaching program, even like that kind of just helped you as you learned?
That helped me so much
Yeah.
realize how much self-care is so important. And I used to
Yeah.
like cringe at that word,
Sure.
self-care, because as a mom of three, it was like, oh my God, well, now I have to be the one to find the babysitter, and I have to be the one that, make sure everyone's taken care of before I leave, and I have to plan it, blah, and like, instead of making it so negative and in my head, I I learned how to reframe it almost and be like, okay, well, I get to do this and I get to do that. And then the thing that I learned is that self-care isn't just getting a pedicure once a month or,
Sure.
sometimes
Yeah.
longer, but like, and it's not just the once in a blue moon massage that you get. It's an everyday thing that you have to do for yourself. And it doesn't have to be this big dramatic thing. So, something that has benefited me is journaling. I wake up and before I put my phone now in the bathroom, so I don't wake
Yeah.
up to it. And because obviously you wake up to shut the alarm off and then you start scrolling, you don't even think about it. And the minute you open your phone is the minute you start allowing all of that stuff to filter in, and it sets the precedence for the day. So I leave my phone in the bathroom. I wake up. I do my morning thing. I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and I go right back to bed and I journal for at least 10 minutes.
So good.
And it can be anything. It can be, sometimes I write scripts to my future self and I thank myself. Or sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, like I didn't get a good night's sleep or I didn't do this, but how can I reframe it? Or how can I have a better day? And then I learned to always tell myself, I love you and thank you. So at the
Oh,
end of every journal entry, I say, I love you, Lauren, and thank you. Thank you for what you're going to do today. Thank you for what you did yesterday. And it's just like reprogramming in my mind this self love that I never had.
yeah.
And it is that in itself, that little tiny I love you, thank you, it has like literally changed my life. And it's
So,
so simple. Like, why wouldn't I do that? But we're just why would we when we're not
yeah.
taught that?
But not. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're taught, I think we're taught like everything else. And some of it's like self-taught. We're very, as nurses, we tend to be very driven and ambitious
Mm-hmm.
but there's all those reasons behind why we're like that. But like all of this that leads to the burnout, it's like we've got to be able to kind of heal. That's why I love like the nervous system regulation stuff, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, let's heal this like surface stuff. Let's kind of get ourselves a little bit chilled out. And then we can do that deeper work after that of like what
Yes.
you're talking about, learning our worth, the self love, all of that that goes into it. There's so much, that we've got to kind of unravel those patterns.
Yes. And none of that, like you said, like none of that is taught to us. And if you
Yeah.
think about it, I mean, my generation, your generation, like our parents were never taught that. And their parents certainly were never taught that. So it's unlearning generations and generations of of thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why in nursing school we don't talk about the nervous system. I think it is the most important system. It
Yeah.
literally sets
Yeah.
the tone for everything in your body.
Yeah.
And it's like when I started learning about it, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like my mind was blown open.
Yeah.
And you're right, like we were told to like compartmentalize and just kind of
Yeah.
put things in boxes. And then we only reopen those boxes when we choose to, but most of the time we choose not to,
Right.
right? We just kind of
Exactly.
just keep going and keep
Just
going.
keeps building. Yeah. I love that analogy. I forget why. There's like this analogy that I always see people talking about where they put a bunch of stones in a jar. Like it's about
Mm,
how much time you have like of life or something and like
right.
all the big things that happen. But I like to think about that in terms of stressors. It's like, we
Yeah.
have those big compartmentalized black boxes, that we hide and those big stones, and then we pour the sand on top, and then it's like we pour water in there, and it's like,
Mhm.
then where's the rest of the room for you, right? If we don't start to unpack some of that, but we're not taught to do that exactly.
Mm-mm. And we're taught to do things for everybody else. And I love doing things for other people.
Yeah.
I thrive on doing things for other people.
Mm.
But I have learned that I am just as important, if not the most important person, so
Yeah.
I can take care of everybody else in a way that they deserve to be taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah. If we are burned out, this household is going down.
I know. And it's like, I was giving everybody else the best of me, like these people
Yeah.
that some people were super grateful, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have those patients and you just are like, oh, I want to take you home.
Yeah.
I love you so
Yeah.
much. And then you have those patients that just aren't like that and they're nasty and they're mean, but they still got the better version of myself. And then when I came home, I was not the best version of myself,
Yeah.
especially to my husband and to my kids. Like, I can't lie. Like, I was burnt out and tired. And, everyone's like, well, you only work 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Or you work Monday through Friday and you don't have to work nights anymore and you don't have to do this and you don't, and it's like, no,
Yeah, that's
like,
how I feel too. I'm like, we were talking about that the other night at work. Like, when is like the take your husband to work day happening? Like, when do we get to
right.
do that? And unfortunately, we cannot because it's so, sensitive information and, all
Right.
that good stuff. But I'm like, dang, like, I wish. I'm like, it's only 3 days a week. And right now I only work 2 nights a week, which is so cool. But like, it's a lot. It's your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, it's physical, it's everything.
But you work half a week in
Mhm.
2 days,
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
what people don't
Yeah.
understand is I'm working a full week. I'm
Yeah.
working more than my 36 hours because I'm not peeing, I'm not getting a dinner, I'm not getting a lunch, I'm
Yeah.
not getting a 15-minute break to just hang out,
Yeah.
so I'm working 40 hours a week in 3 days.
Yeah.
And where I worked, we did our 312s in a row. And
Yeah. Uh,
so some hospitals don't do that. But yeah, like I would work 3 days. And then my shift in the hospital when I first started was 3 p to 3:30 a.m. But nobody came in at 3:30 a.m. And I worked
okay.
in the emergency room.
Oh,
So if it was a bump in night, which it was a lot of times, I was there till 6 or 7 waiting for the 7 a.m.ers to come in and take my shift.
oh
So like
God.
it was awful.
Okay, so many of you have been asking me, Audrey, I love nervous system regulation. I love the tools that you have been talking about, but like, what do I do really quickly in the moment? Like, how do I reset my nervous system? When we are feeling overwhelmed, when we are feeling extra stressed, when we are feeling even just unmotivated or kind of like numb or empty, we need to reset our nervous system. We need to regulate our nervous system. And so I created a free on demand training for you. It's only 30 minutes long. It is free, and you can literally get it today and like start watching it right away. And it is here in my link in my bio on IG at Hello Audrey Rose, or you can find it down below in the show notes. But it's the nervous system reset. I included a very quick 2 minute, yes, I literally mean 2 minute practice for you that you can do anytime, anywhere, so that you can quickly reset your nervous system and get back to living the life that you are obsessed to wake up for. That is literally my motto. It's the most important thing to me for you to regulate your nervous system and get back out there and start living life again. This quick training will give you a little bit of the know how, a little bit of the why this is happening, things that you can do to really shift back out. But that 2 minute tool has been helping so many women. Literally, thousands of women have already gotten this free training, and I know that it's been helping. I've been getting so many messages afterwards about how much this is helping them to change their lives. Yeah,
And you just told to just keep going, and then we'll see you again at 3. You don't get to come in later. You don't get to
yeah,
do that, and you're just it's it's built in me that I was like, okay, I got to take care of them. Like, this is what I'm doing, and it's almost like being the martyr, almost where I'm like, yeah, look at
yeah,
me, I'm taking care of you.
yes,
It's like I don't want to be that way, and I don't want other nurses to be that way, and I don't want women in general to be that way.
yeah.
You know, we're worthy of so much more than we give
Yeah.
ourselves credit for.
I want to ask you kind of like as we wrap up, I would love to ask like to that, younger nurse who's just a couple of years in, maybe 2 years, she's already a little burned out. She's already coming home yelling at her husband. And, what would you tell her? And she wants to probably do, like, we got into nursing, of course, we want to do this job, right? So what would you tell kind of that newer person so that they can start to, let go of some of that stress and hopefully be able to do this career for the long run and
Yeah.
still have those healthy and thriving relationships?
Well, there's a couple things I think I would tell her. One, I would tell her that she has to find something on her days off that is solely hers, nobody else's, something that is 100% brings her joy, not just like, oh, I like doing this. This is fine. I'm talking something that lights you up and makes you happy. You've got to find that. And you have to pour into your cup first. And then
For
you
real.
have to speak up at work and you have to say, you know what? I need a 15-minute break, or I haven't peed in 12 hours. Like, I have to go to the bathroom. And because nobody's handing out burnout awards,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you get a Daisy Award for being a good nurse, but how can you be a good nurse if you haven't peed, you haven't eaten, and you haven't taken a break, right? So speak up for yourself, give yourself that time, take your break, take it, and then give it, and then help another nurse be able to take her break,
So good.
because like we're all in this together and we can either all sink together or we can swim together. And I'd much rather swim with my team and know that I have a bunch of badass nurses that are going to have my back than, negative Nancy over here who is not going to, I know she's not going to help me take a break. Well, I'm going to help, you know, Susan over here take a break because Susan's going to help me. And it's just, speak up for yourself. And then also, I would say that nurses are the heartbeat of the hospital, and they truly are what makes a patient feel comfortable and feel safe and feel seen and heard. And it slowed down a little bit. I know that there's all these protocols and you got to hang antibiotics within this amount of window, or a stroke protocol. Like, I get that. And those are different things, but slow down a little bit and just give that patient an extra few minutes, and it'll make the world of difference. I mean, he could be so miserable, and then that 5 minutes that you gave him could make your 12-hour shift so much better. So just try to slow down as much as you can. I know it's overwhelming, and I don't know, some nurses get 2 patients, some nurses get 10. Like,
Yeah.
but there has to be change too, and you have to be able to speak up and say, it's not safe. It's not safe for me to take care of 10 patients. It's not safe for me to take care of 4 patients if I'm in the ICU. Like, it's not safe. So slow down, do something for yourself. Always, always
Yeah.
do something for yourself, and take your breaks, please. Dear God, take your breaks.
Breaks.
I mean, I know it's easier said, but take them.
Yeah. Oh, where can everybody find you? How can we get in your world? Tell us all the things.
Thank you. So I am on Instagram at mind.yourmama, MAMA. That is the name of my podcast that I am doing. So that's just all things like motherhood related, and burnout and people pleasing, and how we can switch that a little bit. And then I'm on Instagram all the time. So mind your mama, or you can email me at Lauren at mindyourmama.org. And I am going to start my coaching containers. So if any of this resonates with anybody, please send me a DM right now. Like, I have it set up on my Instagram, but obviously we'll chat and we'll see if we're a good fit and see what you need, because I'm here. I'm here for you. I want to help you, and I want you to feel seen, heard, valued, respected, all of it.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll link everything down below, and we'll be in touch on Instagram.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Ready to Rise podcast. It means so much to me to have you here and to get to share all of this with you. If this one resonated, literally just send this to a friend, share it with her right now, because there's so many women out there who really need this information. And I would also love it if you could take a quick screenshot, throw it up on Instagram, tag me at Hello Audrey Rose so that I can connect with you and get to know you. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Have a blessed and beautiful day, and I will see you next time.